Something remarkable is happening. And that's exactly what I'm going to tell you in detail in this video. But first, let's look at what happened at the White House. US President today once again repeated that Israel had suffered a lot by Iran's retaliatory attacks in the 12-day war caused by war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu's reckless action. Being true to himself, Donald Trump once again claimed that Iranians had expressed their desire to meet him. Remember, he had made a similar claim in the past, only to be left embarrassed by a public denial of Tehran. Meanwhile, plenty of developments are taking place at a rapid pace, which gives you an idea that the Islamic Republic of Iran is in no mood to repeat its past mistakes against the rogue regime of Israel. This is significant given that one former US diplomat, and he is no ordinary ex diplomat, he has warned that Israel could make a similar transgression against Iran by catching it off guard once it is able to replenish its interceptor missile stockpile. But going by Iranian foreign minister's public statement, it seems Iran is determined to teach everyone who backstabbed the Islamic Republic a lesson. Now let's look at all these points in detail. Trump today addressed the media as he signed a peace deal with the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. When asked about Iran and the reports of the country managing to secure its huge stockpile of highly enriched uranium, Trump made every attempt to avoid this question. As I said before, Trump simply doesn't want to have anything to do with Iran militarily.
When it comes to nuclear weapons, Mr. President, are you concerned that the Iranians may have some enriched uranium at Pickaxe Mountain?
The last thing they're thinking about right now is enriched uranium. They're not thinking about what they want to do is they want to get back to life, and they do want to meet me, and we'll do that quickly. We're going to do it quickly. We'll
Is
have a
it this
meeting
morning
soon.
that they don't want to meet with the U.S.? Were they telling you something different in private?
They may say that to you. Don't you think they want to meet me? Don't you think we have sanctions on there that they can't do anything? Wouldn't you think that they want to meet me? I mean, they're not stupid people.
Since he is the president of the USA and therefore he also wants to look powerful, so he once again claimed that Iranian leaders were keen to meet him. He then also repeated his past claim that Israelis had taken a brutal hit by Iran in the just concluded war.
There's no nuclear weapons, and hopefully there can be a lot of healing, and the healing is starting. But they went through a lot, and they suffered, and so did Israel. Israel suffered greatly. It was a nasty 12 days, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Trump may want to massage his own ego by making claims that he can't back it up with evidence. But the Iranian foreign minister spent most of the Friday by issuing fresh ultimatum to the Argentinian head of the IAEA and reminded him about his disgraceful role in triggering the Israeli military strikes against Iran. He wrote on Twitter, and I quote, "The parliament of Iran has voted for a halt to collaboration with the IAEA until the safety and security of our nuclear activities can be guaranteed. This is a direct result of Rafale Grossi's regrettable role in obfuscating the fact that the agency, a full decade ago, already closed all past issues. Through this malign action, he directly facilitated the adoption of a politically motivated resolution against Iran by the IAEA Board of Governors, as well as the unlawful Israeli and US bombings of Iranian nuclear sites. In an astounding betrayal of his duties, Rafael Grossi has additionally failed to explicitly condemn such blatant violations of IAEA safeguards and its statute. The IAEA and its Director General are fully responsible for this sordid state of affairs. Rafael Grossi's insistence on visiting the bomb sites under the pretext of safeguards is meaningless and possibly even malign in intent. This is very important. Iran reserved the right to take any steps in defense of its interests, its people, and its sovereignty. End quote. I'm glad the Iranians are wiser this time around and have kind of recognized their enemies and also those who abuse their trust. Meanwhile, a top former American diplomat has warned that Iran must not lose sight of Israel and its Western backers who could potentially catch Tehran off guard. Chad Freeman, former US Assistant Secretary of Defense, says that Iran is bound to work closely with the Russians and the Chinese to rebuild its air defense system in the ceasefire period.
As time goes by, we're going to go to get some sort of permanent ceasefire?
I doubt it. Unfortunately, I think the Israelis are implacable. I think they learned a hard lesson during this exchange, and that was that they cannot win a war of attrition with Iran. But Donald Trump's ego is very large. He immediately announced a fantastic success in the American assault on Iran. He's resisting expert assessments of the actual battle damage, which appears to be considerably less than what he claimed. I mean, I think Iran was battered, yes. Iran's nuclear program was trimmed back, yes. But I think everything I've seen suggests that Fordow actually survived. The uranium was moved before the attack occurred. It's intact somewhere in Iran. The principal result of the attack seems to have been a disaster for the Non-Proliferation Treaty as international law, the removal of the IAEA inspectors from Iran, the severance of a relationship with Rossi, who turns out to have been collaborating with the Israelis and the Americans. And Iran was striking them very, very hard. We've seen reports in Israel that were immediately suppressed by the military censors, but which appeared briefly that almost 33,000 claims have been filed for property damage. There was a lot of damage done. It was done not just to civilian infrastructure, but to military bases and strategic infrastructure, for example, the refinery in Haifa. And had this gone on, in addition to Haifa being essentially shut down as a port, Ashdod might have been shut down. So I think the Israelis looked at this situation and realized that the better course would be the ceasefire, but they have not ended their ambitions with regard to Iran. They have not agreed to abandon them. And this brings me to the last observation, which is the irony that it's in everyone's interest for Donald Trump's claim to be accepted by the Israelis, because then they wouldn't have any excuse for another attack on Iran. But I fear that they don't accept it. I think they're more realistic than that. And so what I expect to have happen now is both sides will reconstitute themselves. Iran will rebuild its air defenses, likely with Russia or Chinese or both helping. The missiles I note that Iran uses apparently use Beidou, the Chinese version of GPS, as a guidance system. The chips are from China and so forth. The guidance systems are from China. So China has been supplying dual use equipment to Iran. It did not stop. I think it may now take another step and agree to replenish the Iranian air defenses.
Freeman's analysis comes at a time when there are reports that China is fast considering supplying Iran its highly effective J-10CE radar, which cost just $40 million, but was responsible for the failure of Indian fighter jets such as Rafale, Sukhoi 30, and MiG-29 during its recent conflict with Pakistan. J-10C's KLJ-7A radar has a detection range exceeding 300 kilometers. That means that it can detect the oncoming fighter jets from a distance of more than 300 kilometers. With gallium nitride technology, it can lock onto enemy's fighter jets 60 to 100 kilometers before those jets even realize it. Experts say that this would be a game changer if Israel decides to repeat its attack on Iran. That is, if Iran is able to acquire and install this radar system well in time. So plenty of activities already taking place on the Iran-Israel front. Meanwhile, Israeli terrorists have slaughtered close to 100 more starving people in Gaza. These evil Zionists backed by the West, are redefining barbarism every single day with their unspeakable atrocities. Unless these Israeli terrorists are stopped, we are not likely to see any peace in the Middle East. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.